Good afternoon. I'm Rhonda Kadish, Special Events Coordinator for the City of Hudson. Today we are live at American Fireworks with details on next weekend's fireworks. American Fireworks has made its home in Hudson since 1902, and with me is seventh generation of the fireworks family, Roberto Sorgi.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming out, and it's a pleasure to be here and be a part of the City of Hudson and part of the Hudson Community Foundation and this great event for Hudson. And yeah, so we're excited to be here. And it's tough to put this together last second here at the fireworks company, but we're really happy we're able to do this for everyone and get a little behind the scenes tour of what it takes to actually put on the show for the city and all the cities in the surrounding areas. So yeah, we're really excited.
So the fireworks are Saturday, July 1st at Barlow Farm Park, and they are presented by the Hudson Community Foundation, with the premier sponsor being the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, in honor of their 50th birthday. I believe you have a connection with the Morgans?
Yeah, funny as it is, growing up we were actually next door neighbors to the Morgans, and believe it or not, both Mr. Morgan was a huge fireworks supporter, and he just loved them. He had this fascination for fireworks, and that's one of the reasons he helped with the Community Foundation years ago to either start it and start endowing it. And but yeah, so I was growing up, my summer job was actually sweeping the porch and picking up sticks and coming home and getting a couple bucks. So yeah, he's a great man and loved his community and loves fireworks. So it was a perfect marriage.
So Roberto is going to tell us a little bit about what we're going to see at next weekend's fireworks, and towards the end of this live, we will give you information on parking, shuttle service, road closures, and safety information. So what do you have to show us?
Yeah, so cool. So American Fireworks Company, as she mentioned a little bit earlier, has been located here in Hudson, Ohio since 1902. I'm actually the 5th generation here in the United States, and it goes back about 2 more generations over in Italy. So we ended up here in Hudson. Actually, my great-great-great-great-grandfather came over through Ellis Island, and they sort of call it the Fireworks Beltway, starting in New York and then working its way to Pennsylvania into Ohio. And he was working the railroad, and he stopped, and he was able to save up enough money to get his chemicals going and that kind of stuff, and landed here in Hudson as he is. And so we've been proud to call Hudson our home now for over 100 years, 115 years we're celebrating this year. So it's really exciting. So a lot has changed over the years. We were a big manufacturer back in the day, and that's changed to now where we produce a lot of displays. We sell a lot of the bottle rockets, firecrackers all over the country. And so for the Hudson show specifically, a lot of it has changed from, it used to be lighting with a road fusee, a road flare that you see behind a cop car or a crash or something like that, to shooting shows toggle switch with toggle boards, to now it goes 100% electronically. So what you'll see kind of in front of us in the room we're in an electronics room here, a lot of the fireworks now are shot with igniters, and they actually will each shell will have its own address, and it'll go into one of these boxes, and it'll link back to a main panel. And on the main panel itself, you'll actually just literally push the go button, the fire button, and the whole show will just take course on its own. So where a lot of the change over the years has been is in the technology, just like in everything. So we're here Facebook Live, which before this would take days to get produced. So it's really exciting. And the Hudson show has been something that's been really important for our family over the years, that it's an opportunity for us to show off all the new products to our community, who helps us year round and puts up with, we're kind of an eyesore in the center of town. And so it's an opportunity for us to sort of give back to the community as well, and sort of bring our to our friends and families. So it's really exciting.
So what do we see inside of this? This is called a
So this
shell?
is a individual display shell. This is a larger one. So this would be like a 10-inch shell. So if you will, there's here would be like an electric igniter. This electric igniter we'd pop off. It would plug into your module here. So if that shell was supposed to break at 10 minutes and 42 seconds, we'd put it into Q32. From your module then would connect back to your main panel. And then so with the display shell, how it kind of works is, you have your electric igniter, it would light the match, it would come down to your lift cup down here, and which is called your lift charge. So your lift charge is at the bottom, which is basically 2 and 4F powders. The 2 and 4F powders will then actually light and kick the shell into the air. As it's lifting, it hits this piece of cross match and time fuse. Time fuse is a slow burning fuse, and for what it does is, so that's what we call the clock for the shell. So this shell will take about 10 seconds to get to its apex, so it'll burn real slow. And as it's going and rising, it's burning. So around 10 seconds, it'll hit this piece of cross match in the middle of the shell, which then will get to your burst chamber. Your burst chamber is rice hulls coated in black powder, which then will burst open and it'll kick the shell open. And then all these little things that look like BBs and marbles are dehydrated chemicals which can form into what we call stars. Stars is what gives you your color in the shell. So this one would be a 3-layer shell, so it'd be like a crackle to red to blue. So as it's breaking open, it's going blue to red to crackle, or crackle red to blue as it's bursting in the air. So this shell would actually go about 700 feet in the air and burst about 350 feet wide, and would give you 3 effects into one. So that's just sort of a simulation of what inside of a shell would kind of look there, so which is exciting. So in the Hudson show, these shells would be in there, and there's over about 5,000 different pyrotechnic devices being shot, whether it's shells or individual cakes and modules. So these will be a lot of fun for the show there.
So how high would something like this shoot in the air?
This one would go anywhere from 600 to 700 feet in the air. The city shells will range anywhere from 150 feet in the air, and they'll go up to about 600 feet in the air. So anywhere within the park there, you're going to be able to see, and even the surrounding neighborhood and the surrounding areas, you'd be able to see the different shells and different sizes.
Even if someone were to actually sit at Joanne Fabrics, would they be able to see?
If you're sitting at Joanne Fabrics, so the way we sort of design the show is that we have a first dairy crowd, which is inside the park. One of the goals a couple years ago with the foundation was to try to get more people into the park and make it feel more of like a community show instead of having people so far away. So what we did was we designed a first dairy crowd. So people who take the time, take the effort, get down there a little bit earlier, will be able to get in the park. We'll see 100% of the show. And then, but we also had to keep in mind that we can't fit all of Hudson into that park. So we had a sort of secondary crowd. So the outskirts, which would be the Joannes and the neighborhoods in the surrounding area. So from there, what we do is all the larger diameter shells, which makes up 80% of the show, would be going 210 feet to about 600 feet in the air. So yeah, if you're at Joanne's, are you going to get the best visit perspective of the show? No, but you're going to get a really good one. So yeah, so there's no reason if you've got to work late and have to get down there late to not come because you think you're not going to see the show. So
okay. So you said there's about 5,000 different things?
Yeah, so 5,000 different devices. There's cakes that will shoot 150 feet in the air with their little bit lower diameter, which is fun. And then there'd be about 2,000 shells like this that will go higher and make the bigger burst in the sky. So, but then from there, there's 70 cases of product that break down into those 5,000 devices. And you're looking at somewhere around 500 circuits. So one of these E-matches going into these modules. So we'll utilize about 20 of these back here to actually set it all up. So you'll have a bunch of that. And then as you take out all this wire with those 500 circuits, they're like 15-foot wires. So you're looking at like a little over a mile in wire for one show to go off. So it's pretty fun. And but yeah, so it's a lot of work behind the scenes. A lot of people think you just show up with a truck and you set up some boxes on the floor and let it roll. This show will take probably about 2 days to script and design, and then it goes out to the plant, and the plant will then build it, which is another day. Take about a half day to load the trucks, and then from there, day of show, we'll get out there 8 o'clock, work really closely with the Hudson Fire Department and the safety team out there. 8 guys to set it up, and then it all goes off in about 20-some minutes, 25 minutes, and we're tearing it down and getting to the next community. So, but yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's a rewarding job at the end of the day, you know. For us, the reason we do it is to hear the crowd, and it's all about getting the communities to come out. And with fireworks, it's unique. So everyone's like, oh, you're spending that much money on a fireworks display. And but you kind of got to look at it a little bit differently. You know, we could spend $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on fireworks, but you're getting 20,000 people to come together as a community versus that's 4 feet of back road somewhere of asphalt. So the empowerment of getting people to come together as a community is the way we kind of look at it, and to celebrate our nation. And I think today more than ever, we're Facebook Live. I think we've got to get away from the computers every once in a while and get back out into our parks and our community and really take place. So yeah.
So should we move out to the warehouse
Yeah,
and see
absolutely.
the next step in in setting these off?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are we going to be looking at out here?
Yeah, so this is sort of like we said, so that's sort of like the electronical part of it. And this is one of our new warehouses that we just produced or built and put together. But you can see a lot of the equipment that will be what actually sets up the show. And you might hear some noise in the background. We're getting kind of cranked up, so we're loading a bunch of trucks right now. But so these racks would be like a 4-inch rack of 12. And some of those, the bigger shell you saw in there, would you drop into these. and light it. So you have 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch. The city of Hudson has shells that go up as big as like 6-inch shells over here.
So is this our rack?
Yeah, these pallets would be probably going to the city of Hudson. They'll
Okay.
loaded on a truck here in a couple hours, and then you have 5-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch. So the city of Hudson show will have 2 26-foot trucks, and they'll come loaded with a couple hundred of these racks on there to shoot then the 5,000 some devices that'll be shot out on that show up there. So yeah, this is sort of just a lot of there's not much glitz in here, but you'll see a lot of hard work is what you'll see here.
And you're able to reuse these year after year?
Yeah, so these racks actually, believe it or not, some of these ones in here probably have been here for 30 some years. My grandfather probably shot out of them, and we in the off season will come in and take care of all of them. Take them off the skids, break them down, see if there's anything that needs to be repaired, and so it's pretty exciting. Yeah, we can reuse these year to year, and you'll see a bunch of other random things that take like what it takes to put together the shows here.
I see lots of fire extinguishers around.
Safety's huge. Safety's huge in our business, and so in fireworks business, you don't see a lot of new companies out there, and because there's a lot to it. There's a lot of the safety, a lot of the regulations, a lot of different things. So safety's huge in our industry. So fire extinguishers and working with the fire departments is pretty important. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
here's like a truck.
Oh.
Pretty much. This would probably be going out. Where's this one headed? This one's going out to Pennsylvania for a minor league baseball team. It'll be get double checked here and be on its way out here this weekend. So.
Okay, we'll step outside.
Sean's shooting a Hudson show.
So you say we'll have about two trucks this size?
Yeah,
full of
we'll have
Hudson
two
Fireworks?
26-foot trucks that'll get out there day of show. And I mentioned they'll get out there around 8 a.m. that morning. If there's weather, which knock on wood, there's not going to be any bad weather. And so if there's bad weather, we'll get out there a little bit earlier and get there with about 8 to 10 guys to set it all up. And so absolutely.
So, and this is a magazine?
Yeah, so this is actually one of the bunkers, one of our storage magazines that we pack a lot of our shells. And what we can show you is the different sizes of shells and explain how high they go and what different effects that they have in there. So yeah, we can pop in here real quick. And so there's a bunch of different shells and types of quantities of shells. And as I mentioned, the city show has about 5,000 devices that are shot throughout it, whether it's bigger shells or smaller shells. That's what gives you the layering effect in the show. So you don't want everything to be at one altitude shooting straight up in the air. So what you do is you mix in 3-inch shells, 4-inch shells, 5-inch shells, 6-inch shells, 2-inch shells to give you different layering and different effects throughout the show. So yeah, it's fun.
Okay, so I see one here is called half golden glittering and silver glittering peony.
Yeah.
How do you make the different colors?
Yeah, so the different colors, so we saw that cross section in the other warehouse in the electric room back there. So the different stars is actually the different colors throughout. So this shell, for instance, is a half golden glittering and a half silver glittering. So when it breaks open, the right side will be silver and the left side will be golden, but it'll come down and it'll glitter effect. So you'll see it actually trickling as it comes down. And in our inventory, we have about 1,100 different SKUs, 1,100 different effects. So each year for the shows, we'll be able to bring out some different effects. Whether it was new last year or new this year, we'll be able to take into effect all different types of shells. So when we redesign the show every year, we sort of keep the flow of it the same. But then what we'll do is we'll introduce different products throughout. So whether it's pattern shells like rings or circles or smiley faces, to new golden or more vibrant colors. That's really there's a lot of good new product in like making the colors more vivid. So like a neon color, like a neon blue, a neon red, that kind of stuff. So that's what will be kind of fun and exciting for the show this year.
So is there something new that we'll see this year?
Yeah, I mean, there'll definitely be a lot more effects. So a lot of the change in the shells like this will be that there's multiple effects within one. So like this is a silver crowned variegated strobe. So what that'll do is it'll break open and it'll be a big silver sphere as it breaks, but then it will be out of a variegated tip on it. So as it's breaking open silver, there'll be like red, white, blue, green, purple strobing as it's coming down. So you'll see a lot of different, where it's not just one shell goes up and boom, it's red. It'll be boom, it's red to blue to green, or there's multiple effects within. So that'll be exciting this year. So.
And so what is this?
This right here is kind of cool. This is a finale chain. So at the opening or at the beginning of the show or midway through the show, when you want to send up 45 shells or 200 shells or 400 or 500 shells like the finale has, you have them all pre-chained together. So you put one of those electric igniters into the EMT here, and then that'll go into the circuit board, and then this will actually fire 24 shells in about a 3-second time. So
Okay.
it'll throw up a ton of color all at once.
And so when you say your crew putting our show together,
Yeah.
are they actually then chaining these together
Yes,
based
so,
on what you've
so
decided?
these we will pre-chain here at the plant,
Okay.
and so we'll decide what colors we want to go into what chain. And so like on this one, this is a super peony. This would be a loud salute, like a concussion shell with like a red to blue. So yeah, we'll predetermine what the chains look like here before they go out, and then what they'll do is they'll drop these shells into the mortars, which we just saw in the warehouse, and they'll go into sequence. So there's chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'll light them in
Okay.
order to which way they'll go.
So is it, I heard you say a concussion shell. Is there an audio sort of component to this as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There really is. So there's crackling shells, which will crackle as they come open. There's like thundering salutes or like that, which are concussions. So at the end of the show where you hear that bang, 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 sort of the emphasis and the exclamation point on the show, that'll go at the end. And then there's like whistle shells, crackle shells, glittering shells. So you'll see some other, dimensions to that as well. So that's always fun.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah.
So this is all just stored here for
Yes,
once
so-
another
another event.
comes?
So yeah, this would be sort of like stock, and so what will happen is in the plant is another show will come in. Say it's Lake Forest Country Club makes an order. We'll put together the program in the office, and the office will send it out to the plant, and then they'll come around and they'll be like, we need 36 3-inch single shells. So they'll come out here and grab 36 out of here, and then they'll say 4-inch, we need 24 of them, and so on and so forth. And then we'll pack the show, we'll mix it up to make sure there's a good variety, and sort of go from there. Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty fun.
So parking for the fireworks is at Little Tykes. You can walk over to Barlow Farm Park from Little Tykes. Joanne Fabrics and Crafts has free shuttles from the Peterman Bus Company. Or as Roberto said, you can also watch it there, and you'll get a good,
Yeah.
50%
Yeah,
of the
if not more,
fireworks?
absolutely.
Okay. Shuttle buses will begin at 7 p.m. from Joanne's and return to Joanne's after the completion of the fireworks. Summit Metro Parks is providing handicap parking and a viewing area with restrooms at Wood Hollow Park. You must have an official handicap placard to enter that parking lot and also to get down Barlow Road after 7 p.m. to get to the parking. We want to thank you for legally parking and observing all road closures. Barlow Road will close at 7 o'clock and will only be open for shuttle buses or handicap parking. There won't be a pre-event for the fireworks this year, so arrival, you don't need to really plan for extra events ahead of time. For everyone's safety and enjoyment, no consumer fireworks, sorry,
It's important.
allowed.
That is very important.
No fire pits, no alcohol are permitted in Barlow Farm Park, Wood Hollow Park, or in any of the parking areas. Once again, we want to thank the presenter, Hudson Community Foundation, and the premier sponsor, the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, for bringing the 2017 fireworks to the city of Hudson. And I want to thank Roberto Sorgi and American Fireworks for taking time out of what's obviously a very busy season
thank
to
you.
spend some time with us and show us around. We're looking forward to seeing what you have for us this year.
Absolutely.
And want to thank you. And I am Rhonda Kadish, Special Events Coordinator for the City of Hudson.
And again, my name is Roberto Sorgi with American Fireworks Company. And we really appreciate you coming and spending the day with us and going live. And we hope everyone enjoys their 4th of July this upcoming summer. If you do participate in consumer fireworks, make sure you take all the precautions you need to make sure that everything's safe and sound. So.